And welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about what I have dubbed Super Pisces season for 2025. And the reason I'm laughing because it's just so much Pisces. It's so much Pisces. It is kind of ridiculous. There's going to be 6 placements we got in 5 planets. There's going to be the North Node, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, the Sun and Moon, obviously the Moon, because she moves really fast, and Mercury. So, without further ado, let's jump into Super Pisces season. So I'm first gonna go down my list of events, and we're gonna start in January actually. So, kind of some events that already happened previously to kind of just build up how much Pisces is going to be happening now and into February. Um, we're gonna talk up to the new moon in Pisces on February 28th. Just so, all right, let's go ahead and jump in. Venus entered Pisces on January 3rd of 2025, really bringing in, I think, a lot of illusions for social interactions in the masses, but also a deepening for love and social interactions. Venus in Pisces also brings out a lot of creativity, and I think asks us to broaden our horizons and kind of think with a more open mind about our social life and love life. And I think that's where that deepening really comes into play. Event that happens or already happened in Pisces is the Saturn Venus conjunction that happened on January 19th. The TikTok ban happened on January 19th, but then, as we all know, TikTok is back. I've noticed it's not in the App Store, but also rip Lemon 8 and CapCut. Anyways, but we all saw the thing about President Trump wanting to get it back, and I think that was kind of a illusionary deal because this Saturn and Venus is a good time to make deals because Venus kind of boosts your prospects of the deal going well, and then Saturn is really business. Um, so being also in Pisces, it can be a little manipulative, I think. On some brighter notes, or just not political notes of the Saturn Venus conjunction, is that this is a great time for relationships to really be grounded in their core of love. Because Pisces is just such a like an open, free love sign, and I love it so much. I'm looking at at some notes I have over here. It's a great time to make commitments and invest because of kind of what I was talking about just a second ago with Saturn and Venus and business. Saturn and Venus conjunction is also a great time to know who our friends are when it comes to who's going to be really loyal to us and vice versa. Um, and who's really committed in the long term for our relationship. And I think the important thing to remember here is it's really okay to outgrow people. Um, this is kind of like the mini shedding your skin before the Pluto Kazemi that happens. Well, it's happening today that I'm recording this, but it's not in Pisces, so I won't be talking about it. But I fast forward to February 1st, we have a Venus Neptune conjunction, which is just so romantic and dreamy. A lot of the themes here will be emotional deepening in relationships, connections, and people that can like really go deep with us. Or maybe that's why we're able to get deep in our relationships because we actually allow ourselves to get deep with our partners. Be careful to over romanticize and idealize situationships, people, or situations, or even relationships during this time because Venus in Pisces is really dreamy and loves romance. And Neptune in Pisces is just like a double whammy of, of like very dreamy energy. So don't get too caught up in that. Um, dream that you have in your head, because you may be thinking something over here and what's actually happening is all the way over here. And you could have seen that if you were just a little bit more grounded. So keep that in mind going into February 1st for this transit. Well, and really all of this, because this is all um, very Piscean, all over the place, watery energy, a lot of social illusions and propaganda coming up. And on a lighter note, we're also going to see a lot of beautiful spirituality during this time. I would imagine if you commune with any spirits or do any type of divination, this is going to be a time where it's just going to be so harmonious and flow super well. And once again, I'm going to remind you to please stay grounded. Right after Venus is conjunct Neptune, it comes into another conjunction with the North Node, which I think is pretty awesome because the North Node is a point of expansion. It's kind of like our North Star, where we're supposed to go, our purpose, and so on. So, Venus being conjunct the North Node is going to bring around a lot of these new relationships and connections that are going to help us pursue our purpose or learn things that we're meant to learn here. So, keep in mind that some of these relations may be very lesson oriented and things that we're supposed to learn here. Maybe these connections are for a time, some of them long. Just really depends. Stay grounded and listen to the universe or your gods, etc. This is also a great time to expand our capacity for love and expand our ability to love and how we love. Action is going to be on steroids right now. So if you are a love witch or somebody who works with the law of attraction or just have a Venus heavy chart, oh my goodness, I can just imagine that this is a really fun, exciting time. And this is also a great time for self-expression and harmony amongst everyone. And it's a good time to also advertise and do marketing. I just wanted to add that. New deals, new marketing, things like that. February, two planets are going to enter Pisces. So Venus left, and Mercury is going to enter Pisces on February 14th, bringing about really creative minds who aren't afraid to think outside the box. They're really compassionate, a little detached sometimes. The sun is going to follow Mercury and enter Pisces as well, bringing us to Pisces season. So we are officially in the super Pisces season now. That happens in Pisces is Neptune conjunct the North Node on February 23rd. This is a really interesting and exciting transit as well that I think will ignite a lot of spiritual awakenings and even maybe having people turn to religion as well. Pisces doesn't always just rule over spirituality, it rules over organized religion as well. We're going to have a lot of intense dreams and heightened awarenesses. Um, these dreams might not make any sense. Some of them might, so keep that in mind. Neptune is the subconscious, which is kind of chaotic at times. Very fun. There's going to be an extra layer of mysticism around, which is very fun, especially if you're a spiritualist, occultist, or anything like that. It'd be a great time to practice or really get in touch with your intuition. I suspect that there's going to be a lot of marine or oceanic discoveries as well as psychological discoveries, as well as a focus. There will be a focus on minority groups, the homeless, elderly, and children, because those are all ruled by Pisces. If you didn't know that, I like that fact actually. The last big transit that happens before the new moon in Pisces on February 28th is the Mercury Saturn conjunction on February 25th. That I actually kind of have a little bit of a prediction for. Of course, like I've said through the video, I think there is going to be some propaganda and some illusions put on out in social media and on the collective. I am from America, so keep that in mind if you're viewing from a different country. I do have that bias right now, especially. Um, But Mercury is communication. We've already had a lot of weird things and regulations and changes happening in how social medias ran. TikTok ban is just one example of how it's also being used to see kind of how we will emotionally react as a collective here. But then we have Saturn, and like I said, that's a decreaser, and wherever Saturn is, he likes to suppress. So I do see this as possibly another crackdown on social media in the US. So I'm really just interested to see how that one plays out. But other than that, we'll be wanting to speak correctly, and speaking correctly about a lot of interesting things, given that this is in Pisces. This could also include some maturing in the advancements of holistic studies, or things like that. And then we come to the new moon in Pisces on February 28th. We did skip the Leo full moon. It's in Leo, so um, I will do a whole separate video on it. And I'm doing a whole separate video on the new moon in Pisces as well, like I always do. I do lunary videos every other week. So if you want to keep up with that, I got you. But the new moon in Pisces, I will be putting it up on the screen somewhere. Look at this. It's so wild. There are one, two, three, four, five placements, four planets, and then five, including the North Node. We're going to be drowning, guys. This will be a lot of heavy emotion. People spiritually, religiously, this is going to be quite a time. Um, a lot of awakenings, in my opinion. Like, if this is just going to be a huge spiritual religious time. But also, if you look at this chart, and since I've been talking a lot about propaganda, illusions, making deals for kind of suppression, that kind of thing, the new moon is pretty much all those placements in Pisces are transited by Mars in Cancer. Thankfully, Mars won't be retrograde anymore, but that means that Mars is ready to take action now. I do kind of wonder if this will be a religious push or things motivated by religion that have to do with this new beginning and with the new moon in Pisces. And I'm going to leave it at that because then I won't have anything to talk about in the new moon in Pisces video. But to kind of wrap up with all of this, this is a lot of Pisces, guys. Pisces is a fairly ungrounded sign, and I'm not saying this to demean anybody who's a Pisces or has any Pisces placements. I have some Pisces placements. And I actually really love Pisces. Pisces is wisdom. Pisces is compassion and empathy. Pisces is caring for everyone. And Pisces loves without shame. It loves in endless ways. And it has a very optimistic side, but astrology is gray. Pisces also rules over things like addiction and poor mental health, delusions and illusions, like I've been saying, that lead to things like propaganda, escapism. It's very changeable, and there is also this theme of when there's too much Pisces, we over identify with others and then we lose our sense of self in the other. Yes, Pisces rules over amazing things like holistic healing, creativity, the ability to be changeable, imagination, and so much more. But we need to be aware that there are two sides to every coin, just like Pisces in this situation. So, what are some tips on how to handle this crazy time where things are quite literally feeling like we're in a heavy fog? That's one way I like to explain Pisces, is like a misty fog. It's very changeable and it floats around, really cool. Handling all of this Pisces energy is going to be willing to be flexible. Things probably won't have a set schedule, or even if you try to follow the schedule, it's just not going to work. So it's okay if things don't always go to plan. Being flexible is really going to come in clutch right now, and listening to your body. If you need to rest, try your best to rest and take care of yourself. Another one is going to be making art and creating things, because it's really easy to get stagnant when there's a lot of Pisces energy because it can be very emotionally heavy. But we can use all this emotional energy, water energy, to create so many things and make a lot of beautiful things. But I think the main point that I have for this whole video is stay grounded. Do things you like that ground you in who you are. Go outside and touch some grass if you like that. Whatever really brings you back to you. Meditating as well. Meditation is going to be really, I think, awesome as well during this time because of all the Pisces. Like, you see how it's pretty gray? Like, there are so many positives, but equally, there are struggles as well. So, with that, guys, thank you so much for listening to the whole video. If you're still here, I really appreciate you. If you'd like, please give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it so much. Also, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe so you can see more of my videos where I talk about astrology. And without further ado, bye!